Okay, Mom.
Okay.
Let's start with my title.
Okay. Number one, the title. Gun violence. There is nothing pretty about it. There is nothing pretty about it is an opinion.
Yeah.
So, get rid of there's nothing pretty about it and just call it gun violence.
That's kind of boring. Should I think of like a non-opinionated title?
Yeah, that would work. Like
Teddy.
Okay, so first sentence in the first paragraph. Many people will argue that our country was founded around the existence of guns. Describe why. So go back to because the Second Amendment to the Constitution says we have a right to bear guns. So
Okay.
I would have that as your introductory paragraph.
Okay.
After that, why this may have been true in the 18th century, times have changed. You really don't focus on anything about the 18th century or times have changed. So talk about the Second Amendment to the Constitution in the introductory paragraph. Then talk about how times have changed in the second paragraph.
So I should split the intro paragraph into two paragraphs?
Well, no, I have it into 1, 2, 3, 4
Holy
paragraphs.
cow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, then a new paragraph. In this day and age, gun violence has shaped the American culture. So then go into a little bit more about how.
Okay.
Then another new paragraph. It is estimated that 80 Americans die from gunfire and another 200 suffer from injuries each day. Okay. So, in this paragraph, add about how when we went on vacation on that 4th of July in 2014, there were, I think, 80 shootings in Chicago that weekend. Get some sources. And about other shootings, because if you just Google Chicago shootings, you'll probably come up with a lot of information.
Okay.
One of my cousin's friends just had her cousin killed in Chicago this weekend.
Okay.
In the life that U.S. citizens live, gun violence is a feature that people face daily. That could be your ending sentence to this paragraph.
Okay.
Americans are almost immune to hear about mass casualties on news because it is the new normal. All right, so list some of these. Talk about Columbine. Talk about what is the new normal. The Air Force Base, Army base that just got shot up. List some of these and talk about how they affect America. But there's a lot of information about that. That should be a paragraph too.
I have a paragraph in there later.
Well, you need to expand.
Okay.
Let's see. Studies have shown that being a gun owner increases the chances that a person or loved ones have a higher chance of being involved in homicides, suicides, or accidental deaths. Okay. Talk more about what these studies say. Is it just being a gun owner? Maybe talk about race, talk about culture, talk about socioeconomic. What specifically is that?
Okay.
All right. The United States government should pass more gun control laws. That's an opinion. So if this is a research paper, you shouldn't be putting your opinion in there unless you can get that from another person who's saying that.
Okay.
Keep guns out of the hands of mentally unstable people and protect modern society. Okay. Children are often the most innocent of victims.
Read them. I don't have to read each sentence word for word.
Well, I'm going to get to 10 minutes, so. All right, children. Okay, so children are often the most innocent of victims involved in gun violence. Where'd you get this from? You need to have the data to support that. Okay, let's see. There were, in late February in Houston, there were 3 child shootings in 4 days. Where'd you get that from?
Well, I talked to her about this, and she said cite. Since I'm paraphrasing a few sentences, just cite it at the end of a few
Okay.
sentences.
Okay, so there was my cite. The parents of these children were irresponsible. That's an opinion. By leaving loaded firearms within reach of students. Danja Holmes, a neighbor of one of the victims, said, okay, you have that cited. Both parents are responsible for their guns and their children. They need to keep both safe and away from each other. Well, how can they do that? Find some research to support that. All right. Most of the mass shootings that have occurred in America came from mentally unstable people getting their hands on dangerous weapons. Where'd you get that from?
Okay.
On April 17th, okay, so you talk about the Virginia Tech campus shooting. 2 years earlier, judge found he was mentally ill. Okay, so then you go, this is just one example in many cases that involve weak background checks on purchase of firearms. That's an opinion again, but you could probably find some research that backs that up.
Okay.
Let's see. I took that out because I realized that was a quote. Okay, the only way to keep guns out of the wrong hands is to pass laws that are impossibly strict. That's an opinion. There's a lot of people saying out there that we would have less gun violence if everybody was able to conceal and carry. So you might want to add some conceal and carry information in there.
But that's not what I agree with.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it.
Okay.
But just ask your Aunt Mary.
Okay.
She can give you like a 30-minute interview on this. Actually, probably 30 hours about how you need to have guns. Okay. Americans' modern society is unique that in fact it revolves around violence. That's an opinion. Think about the Middle East. Think about everything going on in every other country, all the violence.
Mm-hmm.
People walk around in Mexico with Uzis on their shoulders.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so it doesn't just revolve around America. It revolves around everywhere. But you might also want to look and see how some of the countries where you do have guys walking around with Uzis, Punta Cana, Mexico, what are their murder rates compared to ours?
Mm-hmm.
Mortality is something the world accepts as a daily life. Yeah, it is. What about religious violence?
I know.
What?
I'm talking about this gun violence.
Well, there's like people just shooting people because of they don't agree with their religious beliefs. So you may want to add something about that. Okay. Okay. Just asking if this is a direct quote. Let's see. It is without a doubt that stronger laws are needed. That's an opinion. Firearms have been doing more violence than good. Why? You need something to support that statement. There are many people who use guns the safe way. How do you know this?
Well, I know people who use guns safely. But I can't throw in, I know, because I can't use first or third person.
I know, so you need to find some supporting evidence in that. Let's see. However, the problem lies in the vast amount of people who use guns for violent acts. Find something to support that.
My whole paper supports that. Because I talked about the Virginia Tech shooting, kids getting their hands on guns. That's just kind of a statement about the paper.
But then it's opinion.
Okay.
The harder it is for people to get access to these guns, who should not, the safer America would be. That's an opinion.
Okay.
Let's see, multiple studies. It's clear that with all the lives guns take, maybe you could put in a quote, how many lost their lives last year. I mean, that's easy to find. You can find on different websites in New York and Chicago and in any of the big cities. But then these weapons are an imminent threat to the public safety of America. That's an opinion.
Okay.
Because you got those people out there that will say that if more people had guns, the safer we would be.
Yep. That's right.
10 minutes.
Good job.